Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Migration, the latest film from Illumination Entertainment, and I believe this is their first original film since the 1-2 punch of Secret Life of Pets and Sing in 2016. So they basically went about 7 years without an original film. They've just been doing sequels or adaptations. This movie follows a family of ducks that, for the first time in their lives, decide to migrate south for the winter, more specifically Jamaica, but they have no clue where they're going. They have never done this before, so basically it's a giant journey to explore the world and see what they come across. So we have another Illumination movie right here, and I have not been shy at all in my feelings towards this animation studio. I feel like most of their movies just seem to be very mediocre, hardly take risks, and just seem to play it safe at every possible turn. But that doesn't necessarily mean I dislike all of their movies. I mean, the first Despicable Me caught me off guard and I enjoyed it. I really liked the second movie, and I've come around to the Super Mario Bros. Movie. When I first saw the Super Mario Bros. Movie, I thought it was incredibly bland, mediocre, and walked out feeling like the Mario fans deserved better. But after I saw it a second time in theaters, I've learned to appreciate it a lot more, and the stuff that it actually gets right, it gets really right. And I even own it on Blu-ray, so hey, there's another Illumination win. So with this movie, Migration, the trailers once again made this seem like the most mediocre animated movie out there, with generic pop songs, recognizable celebrities doing the voices for these characters. It didn't really hook me at all. But I gotta say, after I finished watching this movie, I walked out thinking that this was one of their stronger movies, and much better than I thought going into it. First of all, I think the animation is probably the best that Illumination has ever done in terms of the way it looks, because they've come a long way since the first Despicable Me movie, and there's a lot of gorgeous shots throughout. The lighting of this movie is incredible, and you've seen the trailers, you know there's several sequences that take place in New York City. They make New York in this movie look a lot better than they did in the Secret Life of Pets films, and I felt like there was a lot more heart to this movie going into it. It's essentially a story about facing your fears and just learning to explore the outside world, get out of your bubble and see what everything outside has to offer. And I thought this movie, while not groundbreaking in the way it told its story, did it in a way where I found myself invested from beginning to end. I wanted to see this family of ducks just go on their migration and make it to their final destination. The humor actually worked for me this time around more than Illumination's other films. There were mostly chuckles, but there was never a point when I rolled my eyes at the humor like, oh god, this is so safe that it's just unfunny. No, there were some genuine laughs out of me, even if they were just chuckles overall, but they were at least consistent chuckles. There are a few issues with the movie though. One of the biggest issues for me involves the father duck, voiced by Kumail Nanjiani, who does a really good job, but at the beginning of the movie, he basically scares his kids senseless about how dangerous the outside world is, and why staying in the pond is the best way to live, but we never really get an answer for why this duck is so paranoid. What does he have to fear of the outside world? What happened to him in his past life to where he has to teach his kids that the outside world is dangerous? And we never ever get an answer for that. I don't want to have to do the comparisons here, but if you remember Finding Nemo, when it came to Marlin and his fear of the outside ocean, they established that from the very beginning that he lost his wife and several of his unborn children to a barracuda. So yeah, with Marlin in Finding Nemo, you completely understand why he's overprotective of his kid. With this duck here, there's not a real clear answer to why he acts the way he does. And if I may backtrack to the humor of this film, while I was consistently chuckling throughout, there are two aspects of the funny that I didn't think were, well, all that funny. Awkwafina and Keegan-Michael Key. Awkwafina plays this really tough, hardcore pigeon that the main characters find in New York. I mean, she's not that good at flying, she's missing a foot, she's basically just a gruff pigeon. Maybe it's because she's popping up in so many animated stuff throughout. I mean, she's been in The Bad Guys, she was in this movie, she's gonna be in Kung Fu Panda 4, which I guess Universal just has her on speed dial, but I didn't find her character this time around to be all that funny. I don't have a problem with Awkwafina herself. I know she can be really funny, but here she didn't really work all that well for me. And as for Keegan-Michael Key, he plays a Jamaican parrot, and the accent he has is just so thick. It is such a hardcore Jamaican accent that I almost expected Mario Van Peebles to pop up out of nowhere and do that accent he did from Jaws the Revenge. I didn't want to bring up Hermes from Futurama because Hermes is funny. This character in Migration, not so much. And the problem is that he continues with these characters for the rest of the movie once he's introduced. But at least he's no high five from the Emoji Movie. At least he's not that level of obnoxious. Even though it sounds like my complaints for this movie are really harsh, I actually ended up liking this movie more than I didn't. Would I recommend anyone to see this in a theater? No, I wouldn't. I would say that this is the perfect kind of movie to watch at home. It's well made, got some cute moments throughout, it can be funny consistently, and it's a good movie overall for families, considering that it's actually focused on a family. Even though I don't recommend seeing this movie in a theater, I'd still say it's good. But like with most of Illumination's other movies, it's not all that great. In fact, there are only 4 movies that I would even say are good. The first 2 Despicable Me movies, this, and the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which I know I initially gave that movie the rating of watch at your own risk, but again, I've come around to it. But as for Migration right here, it's good enough to where I can give it a slight recommendation. And there you go, that's my review for Migration. I hope you enjoyed it, and now I want to know what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day, and take care of yourselves.